We're set. I'm ready, Marty.
Yes, here we go. There we go. That's 2 and...
Visual effects supervisor is generally responsible for anything that has to be completed in post, would be the best way to describe it. So in this example, there's blue screen work for the shots inside of the car that allow the actors to interact with the director directly without having to be towed out in a location and driven through a street.
And we'll cut, reset, and do one more.
Cut, going again.
The reason why they do it that way is when you're out on location and you drive through a street, and if they take 5 or 6 takes to get into their rhythm, all that time it's taken to get back into first position and drive down the street again and everything like that. And in a comedy, what Tim's looking for is those comedy beats that he wants to get right when, you know, he can get the performance out of them. So it's much easier for him on a blue screen stage.
And you go for the radio again?
Something good.
A separate second unit crew will go to the various locations where they should be driving, whatever street it might be or location it is, and positions cameras on a insert car and drives down the road mimicking the action that they want to see here on the blue screen stage. So if it's a left turn or a right turn or a stop or an acceleration, they do those similar things. And then we take those plates after the blue screen here has been shot and composite them together on a computer and look at them as if they're one plate. And then editorial makes a decision that yes, this is what I'm going to use, and no, I'm going to shift this shot down a few more frames, and when that's all done, we do the final composite and make it look like it's real. When you shoot a blue screen composite, what tends to make it look not real is if the car or the occupants in the car have to, say, make a hard stop. Well, then they have to mimic the motion that the body would be put through if you were actually in a car being stopped. So instead, what this rig allows us to do is the operator can then say, the director can call out and stop, and he takes and tilts the car very quickly forward, which forces their body to move on natural force of the action of the rig itself. So that means that they don't have to act out that action. They both act at exactly the same time as if they were really in the car. And that's the difference, is the rig allows us to create natural body motion inside of the car. A gimbal is the machine that you see behind me here that has the hydraulic actuators that allow the operator to basically create any motion of that car that he wants. He can roll it, tilt it, roll it forward, and control how fast he does it. So when he wants the actors to look like they've stopped hard, he can do a quick jerk down and then back, and you get one of those out of them just like they stopped in a real car. So the gimbal is what allows us to move the car as if it was on a real road and get the people inside to move. We have a panes of glass on that rotate around, as well as many of the lights around the outside of the cab that flicker on and off. And the purpose of that is, again, when you drive in a car in a city street that has buildings on the sides and so on, when you go through a gap in the building, the sunlight might come through, and then you go into where there is no gap and you go back into some form of shade. As well as when cars drive by you, they reflect that light onto your car. So what we're mimicking is that. If you put the car on the stage and don't create any interactive light, what happens is nothing changes. The light is identical. They go around a corner, the light is identical. In real life, what happens is when you go around a corner, wherever the sun was, you're in a different relative position to the sun, as well as the cars that reflected light onto you in the buildings would create shadows and highlights on your vehicle. And that's what we're mimicking here on the stage. There's approximately 100 blue screen composites in the film. Total number of shots in the film is about 150. And the other 50 shots are not necessarily blue screen car shots. There are other things where we're in the bike sequence in the beginning when Belle is establishing how she's a bike messenger. We have some composites there, as well as some sort of death-defying feats when she's jumping over gaps and bridges, jumping off the bridge, things like that. Getting the actors to act naturally on a blue screen and know what they're reacting to is a big portion of making a blue screen composite work. That's really left up to Tim to get that direction out of the actors. But what we do before Tim steps up there to direct the actors is we look at the sequence as it's cut roughly now on the Avid, which we have the Avid here today, and we talk about what he wants to see. And then she's doing a lot of this. I mean, basically in that exterior shot,
right.
It's
more art and then car.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And then I give him my input as well as everyone else does to say, okay, the car's going to do this, this is what you need to do. And then he goes up there and he talks the actors through it because there is no way for them to see the action.
And cool, we can start from the top again. That was great. This time start your singing once you go, and you get rid of the radio. Then start your humming there like, okay. And then go. All right,
We go.
And action.
people and choose from me.